Welcome back to Today we will learn about the devastating collapse of the DiMera father-son bond and how EJ's desperate attempts to save Johnny have instead destroyed their relationship forever. The point of no return, EJ DiMera's ultimate betrayal. In the most heart-wrenching turn of events Salem has witnessed in recent memory, EJ DiMera has officially lost his son Johnny forever. What began as a father's desperate mission to protect his child from attempted murder charges has spiraled into an unforgivable betrayal that has shattered the DiMera family beyond repair. The courtroom drama that unfolded during Johnny's trial wasn't just about proving innocence. It became the final battleground where a father's love turned into possessive manipulation, ultimately driving away the very person he sought to save. The devastating reality is that EJ's relentless pursuit of victory at any cost has created an irreparable chasm between him and Johnny. Every calculated move EJ made in the courtroom, every lie he told, and every person he sacrificed on the altar of legal strategy has pushed Johnny further away from the DiMera legacy and deeper into a world where his father no longer exists as a trusted figure. The fake video scandal, EJ's most unforgivable crime. The breaking point came when Johnny discovered the depth of his father's deception regarding the fabricated evidence against Chanel Brady. EJ didn't just present questionable evidence. He orchestrated an elaborate scheme involving a professionally edited deepfake video that portrayed Chanel as a cold-blooded killer making death threats. This wasn't merely legal maneuvering. It was a calculated character assassination of the woman Johnny loves most in the world. The video scandal represents everything toxic about EJ's approach to problem solving. Rather than investigating the truth or finding legitimate evidence, he chose to manufacture false testimony that could have sent an innocent woman to prison for decades. When Chanel courageously testified that the video was fraudulent, stating she never spoke half the words attributed to her, Johnny realized his father had crossed every moral boundary imaginable. What makes this betrayal even more devastating is that EJ knew Chanel was innocent from the beginning. His hypnosis sessions with Marlena had already revealed that the shooter was female, but instead of using that information to find the real perpetrator, he weaponized it to frame the woman his son had chosen to spend his life with. This wasn't protection. It was psychological warfare against Johnny's happiness. The courtroom meltdown. A son's final stand. The moment Johnny fired EJ as his defense attorney marked the official end of their father-son relationship. In front of a packed Salem courtroom, Johnny publicly rejected everything the DiMera name represented by choosing to represent himself rather than allow his father's corruption to continue poisoning his defense. This wasn't just a legal decision. It was Johnny's declaration of independence from a family legacy built on manipulation and moral compromise. EJ's response to being fired revealed the true depth of his selfishness. Instead of respecting his son's wishes and stepping back, he became increasingly desperate and erratic. His explosive confrontation with Tony DiMera showed a man completely unhinged by his loss of control. The courtroom became EJ's personal theater of obsession, where he continued attempting to orchestrate outcomes even after being officially removed from the case. The most telling aspect of Johnny's decision was his willingness to risk his freedom rather than compromise his integrity. By choosing to defend himself during the most critical phase of the trial, Johnny demonstrated that he'd rather face prison as an honest man than walk free as his father's puppet. This choice sent an unmistakable message. Johnny's moral compass pointed in a completely different direction than EJ's, and no amount of family loyalty could bridge that gap. Chanel's hatred, the collateral damage of EJ's obsession. Chanel Brady's contempt for EJ has evolved from mere dislike to absolute hatred, and her influence over Johnny cannot be underestimated. She has become the voice of reason that consistently exposes EJ's manipulative tactics, serving as Johnny's moral anchor in a sea of DiMera dysfunction. Her unwavering support during the trial, encouraging Johnny to focus on clearing his own name rather than protecting her reputation, demonstrated the kind of selfless love that EJ's possessiveness could never match. EJ recognizes that Chanel represents his greatest threat, not because she's malicious, but because she offers Johnny something the DiMera family never could: unconditional love without strings attached. Her presence in Johnny's life serves as a constant reminder of what healthy relationships look like: making EJ's controlling behavior appear even more toxic by comparison. The deepfake video scandal didn't just fail to remove Chanel from Johnny's life, it cemented her position as his most trusted advisor and turned her into EJ's permanent enemy. Every time Johnny sees Chanel, he's reminded of how his father was willing to destroy an innocent woman to maintain control. This creates an impossible situation for any future reconciliation. Choosing his father means betraying the woman he loves, while choosing Chanel means permanently severing ties with the DiMera legacy. The Rachel revelation. Too little, too late. The shocking discovery that 10-year-old Rachel Black was the actual shooter should have been EJ's redemption moment. When his recovered memories finally revealed the truth, that his young niece had pulled the trigger in a chilling confrontation about her missing grandmother, it seemed like the DiMera family might finally have the evidence needed to clear Johnny's name and restore their relationship. However, this revelation came too late to repair the damage EJ had inflicted on his relationship with Johnny. The discovery that Rachel was the shooter didn't change the fact that EJ had been willing to frame Chanel, manipulate evidence, and destroy innocent lives to achieve his goals. It didn't erase the months of lies, the deepfake video, or the psychological torture he had subjected his son to during the trial process. Most devastatingly, Johnny's reaction to learning the truth about Rachel demonstrated that his father's identity as the shooter was never the real issue. The trial had become a window into EJ's soul, revealing a man so consumed with control and manipulation that he couldn't distinguish between love and possession. Even with Johnny's innocence finally proven, the relationship remained irreparably broken because the trial had exposed fundamental incompatibilities in their values and character. Kristen's sacrifice. The family's final fracture. Kristen DiMera's dramatic courtroom confession, bursting in just as the jury was about to deliver their verdict, represents the ultimate irony in this family tragedy. Her willingness to sacrifice herself to protect her daughter Rachel, going to Statesville prison to shield the real shooter, demonstrates the kind of parental love that EJ claimed to possess but never actually displayed. The timing of Kristen's confession highlighted how EJ's obsession with controlling the narrative had blinded him to alternative solutions. While he was busy manufacturing evidence and destroying relationships, the real resolution required nothing more than a family member stepping forward to accept responsibility. Kristen's sacrifice makes EJ's manipulative schemes appear not only morally bankrupt but completely unnecessary. This final act of the courtroom drama serves as a damning indictment of EJ's character. Where Kristen showed genuine courage and selflessness, EJ demonstrated cowardice and self-interest. The contrast between these two approaches to family crisis management wasn't lost on Johnny, who could see clearly which parent truly understood the meaning of unconditional love. The aftermath, a father's broken heart. The jury's verdict, while ultimately clearing Johnny of all charges, came at the cost of everything EJ held dear. His son walked out of that courtroom a free man but also walked out of EJ's life forever. The legal victory that EJ had fought so desperately to achieve became meaningless in the face of losing Johnny's love, respect, and trust. EJ's heartbreak in the aftermath of the trial represents more than simple parental disappointment. It's the recognition that his own actions created the very outcome he feared most. His attempts to maintain control over Johnny's life had pushed his son so far away that no amount of legal maneuvering could bridge the emotional distance between them. The most tragic aspect of EJ's situation is his inability to understand that Johnny's rejection isn't temporary rebelliousness that can be overcome with time and patience. This is a fundamental break based on irreconcilable differences in values, morality, and approaches to relationships. Johnny has seen too much of his father's true nature to ever trust him again, and that knowledge has permanently altered their family dynamic. The DiMera legacy, built on generations of family loyalty despite moral compromise, has finally met its match in Johnny's unwavering integrity. EJ's greatest failure wasn't losing the trial. It was losing the chance to evolve beyond the toxic patterns that have defined his family for decades. In trying to save his son through manipulation and lies, he guaranteed that Johnny would choose a different path forward, one that doesn't include his father's love or guidance. This devastating conclusion proves that some relationships cannot survive the weight of betrayal, no matter how much love once existed between the parties involved. E.J. DiMera has learned, in the most painful way possible, that control and love are mutually exclusive forces, and in choosing control, he lost everything that truly mattered.